Welcome to Vermontitude, a collaborative effort between Great Eastern Radio, the Brattleboro Reformer, and BCTV to bring you the stories behind the stories on the topics you want to learn more about. Because there's always more, so there'll always be Vermontitude. Hosted by me, Peter Fish Case. Welcome to Vermontitude. New episodes drop every Tuesday and can be found by going to vermontitude.com, reformer.com, brattleboro.tv, or locally on Comcast Channel 1078. We come to you from our studios at the Innovation Box on Landmark Hill. I'm Peter Fish Case, and each week I cover the topics that are of concern to Windham County and the towns that reside within its border. Joining us today is Keane Aures. He is the owner of North Chair Brewing, who has purchased our local brewery, Whetstone Brewery. He also owns Maple Valley. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Let's drill into this a little bit, right? There's a little bit there to unpack. So you own North Chair Brewing. Let's talk about that first.
Sure. So North Chair Brewing is the entity that bought the Whetstone Production Brewery. And the name comes from Maple Valley, actually. Uh-huh. And so the chairlift to the north of the ski lodge was the North Chair Lift. Mm-hmm. And so we decided that would be a great name for the brewery that we were planning to put into the old Maple Valley base lodge. Similarly, the ski lift to the south of the ski lodge was called the South Chair Lift.
Okay.
And South Chair is the name of our distilling arm, which is still in production phase.
Still in production. But so the interesting piece of this thing is if you watch this thing locally, Keane and his company had to run the Act 250 gauntlet, which we're happy to say is put to rest now. Finally,
yeah. Gauntlet's a good word. Buzzsaw is another word that we got caught up in. So
all right.
We actually purchased Maple Valley in 2018 is when we closed on it. And we got approval from the town of Dummerston in 2019 to move forward with our project. And we filed our Act 250 permit at the beginning of 2020. And I'm happy to say that 2 days ago, we actually recorded our Act 250 permit after almost 4.5 years.
Wow. All right. And then, so for those who don't know what Act 250 is, just explain what that means to you and to Maple Valley.
Sure. Act 250 is actually an important Vermont law, and the ideas behind it are good. And the idea behind Act 250 is an overarching environmental review to make sure that big projects don't negatively affect the environment to any great extent and hurt the state. It came about in the 70s after a lot of reckless development around ski areas and whatnot were causing a lot of poor septic systems to run into the rivers. And so they developed this law to protect the state. Unfortunately, it's gotten a little heavy-handed and can be a detriment to some development projects in Vermont.
Okay. But you've worked all through that.
We've worked through it now.
Yes. All right. So onto the kind of more exciting things that you're doing right now. So North Chair Brewing, as Keane said, is now the brewing company that brews our local Whetstone Brewery and brews. And you've got a little tasting room up there on Frost Street. Let's talk about that.
Sure. So because Act 250 was taking so long, and it had been several years before we could get the brewery going at Maple Valley, the opportunity came up to purchase the Whetstone Production Brewery in downtown Brattleboro. So we were able to close on that at the beginning of this year, and we bought all of the IP rights to continue making the great Whetstone beers that everybody loves in town. And so we have been kind of tinkering with the recipes and the brewing techniques and the formulas, and we've been redoing those beers to kind of take them up a step. And so now we're making the same beers that people love, just a little bit higher quality. So we're still making Off the Rails. We're still making Rug Life. We're still making a lot of the Whetstone beers that people have enjoyed at the Whetstone station.
Right. So I had one of the best meetings ever with Keane when we were sort of talking about setting this up, and I got to sample a bunch of the beers, and they're just next level. They're really, really good. But the space will be open here, I think, if not open in a few days, it'll be open by the end of the month. And people can come in. How does that work? You can just come in there. I know the coolers are there. They're all stocked with all your favorites there, and you can try them. How does all that work out?
So we built out the tasting room at the brewery. It didn't have a tasting room in it before because they had the Whetstone Station restaurant.
Right.
So we built it out to look like a mini Maple Valley. It's got the rough cut lumber on it. We took a solid slab of maple that we got down at Kerber Lumber in Guilford and made that the bar. And so you can come in there. Currently, we only have a 4th class license there, so you can get samples and you can get 4 packs to go or cases of beer if you want. That's all in the cooler. So you can come into the brewery, you can see how the beer is made, you can taste it right there on the spot, and you can pick up some to take with you.
That's easy peasy, man. Get to try it before you buy it. I love that idea. Let's talk about some of the big plans, because I know like the whole Maple Valley vibe. I know that this community really felt sort of a loss when that little really super local ski mountain shut down. I think it was, if I'm going back years and years and years, it was the only place you could night ski in the area here, at least locally. What are the big plans for there? Like, what's the first thing you want to do? When do you plan on being open? All the questions.
So we get a lot of questions about Maple Valley, and we've been trying to get it started for so many years now. And now that we have the Act 250 permit recorded, we can really get started on the project. So the first thing we're going to do is put a new roof on it, because the roof leaks, and that's a problem. We're going to dress it up a little bit, and we're going to open a tasting room there.
Okay.
And we hope to have that up and running in about 6 months.
Okay.
And we are going to, from there, once we get the tasting room up and running, we're going to put a brewery system in the ski lodge. We're going to build out a distillery space and a whiskey barrel storage barn on the property. And we're going to open the property up for people to enjoy Maple Valley for backcountry skiing, hiking, fly fishing, outdoor recreation. And then you'll be able to come to the mountain, have that outdoor recreation experience, come back to the base lodge, enjoy craft beverages, and we'll have some food trucks there for everybody to really come and enjoy the mountain.
All right. So I know that at one point there was some discussion about maybe doing some live events. Is that still in the works, or is that something that you've kind of just said, like, I've got to get the rest of this dialed in first before I can even think about that?
We're definitely planning on doing live events there. That was something we actually fought really hard for, and we had to go up to the Vermont Supreme Court to actually get that cleared up. And so we did. We were successful at the Vermont Supreme Court, and we can now have live events at the mountain. And we're really excited to bring in those events and have a community gathering space for everybody to come enjoy some live music, come enjoy our craft beverages, come enjoy being with the community.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's refreshing to have some new life breathed into this old space. And I know it's been a slog for you guys to kind of get there. And I knew of it when you started the Act 250 process. I didn't realize you'd already owned it for a few years. I believe I'm just learning that right now. So this is 6 years in the making.
That's right. I think we closed on Maple Valley May of 2018, but we were already doing environmental assessments and working with Stevens and Associates and Brud Sanderson there, who's been great. We started doing environmental assessments back in February of 2018. So there was a massive amount of work we had to do before we could file the Act 250 permit and get the town approval. So we spent almost 2 years getting to that point before we even filed for the permit. So it was a lot of work to get to that point, and then a lot of work from filing the permit to get to today.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. So I think I'm kind of bringing that up because I want people to appreciate what it might take for somebody who's an independent-minded person who wants to bring this fun thing to the community or back to life, what it sort of takes. And I think Keane and his crew have done a great job. I'm super excited that you guys are opening this thing back up and are going to breathe some new life into it over the next few years. I'm really excited that you guys have snapped up Whetstone and doing the good work and offering this new kind of a tasting room and a little bit of a business. So yeah, thanks for all that. Give us the hours of operation that are you going to be like Monday through Friday or down at the tasting room?
At the brewery, we're planning to be open kind of more towards the end of the week. It'll probably be like Wednesday to Sunday. Mm-hmm. We're working with our staff right now to figure out how to staff it on the weekends as well. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at either Wednesday to Saturday or Wednesday to Sunday, and it'll probably be open from like noon to 6 initially. Okay. And then we'll go from there to see if there's demand for more time.
Adjust as needed. One other question that I had with regards to like the tasting room is when folks kind of come in there, there's parking there. The address is what I don't think we've put out there yet. I think that the Whetstone has always brewed there, but there's never been kind of a publicized address. So what's the address?
The address is 39 Frost Street.
Okay.
And so it's not the Whetstone Station restaurant down on the river.
No.
It's the production brewery on Frost Street, kind of behind the old Sam's store.
Okay, great. Keane, thanks for jumping on Vermontitude today. Really appreciate all the hard work that you've done, kind of seeing this thing through and not quitting on us. So thanks for jumping on.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate being here.